It's Trent on the Loos, and today we're going to talk about what I believe is the most important component of living in the United States. You know, I'll be quite honest. I get into this discussion, it's according to the United States Constitution. I get into this discussion quite often with Andrew Henderson on Across the Pond. I believe that there are many distractions that we have as American citizens today. Anything that distracts you from what is taking place in first your county, I would maybe say your township, but let's just talk about counties because we don't have townships in Nebraska. We do have townships. We don't have township government because it'd be like me and Kelly would be the whole thing. But we need to focus on what's important for the county. After that, we focus on the state and we reinforce both of those. And from a county standpoint, three things. Three things are elementary, and I seem repetitive, but I'm just going to shout it until people really get it, until everybody gets it. The county sheriff, the county commissioners, i.e. supervisors, depending on what you call them, depends on, in Nebraska, we have both, and depending on if you have supervisors representing a district or commissioners representing a district, but you have 3 or 5, there's some 7s, but that's in the weeds. We don't need to get in the weeds. Isn't that the issue? Sometimes I accidentally just come across the real things. The issue is that too many times we get in the weeds and keep us distracted. What's going on over here? Instead of focusing about what's happening right here. You know, I often use this analogy, and I think that it's so appropriate. When you're driving a vehicle, you have a great big windshield, right? You can see everything. You can even see off to your sides. And then you have a rear view mirror. You glance in the rear view mirror. You focus most of your attention on going forward, making sure that we know what's off to the side. You think about a mule in a parade or a pair of Percher and draft horses. Back in the day, we put blinders on them, right? Because you want the horses or the mules to only see what's here. You don't want them to catch what's going on over on the periphery. We get distracted with the periphery. I'm not ever suggesting that we ignore the rearview mirror. We glance in the rearview mirror to make sure that we know where we've been. And that helps us get to where we're going. But the majority of our time, the majority of our vision is straight ahead. Well, I struggle with some counties because counties tend to just cave and collapse to whatever the state or federal government wants. The role of the county commissioners, the role of the county sheriff, and the role of the school board is, quite frankly, to protect the citizens of that county first and foremost. Now, when I say the school board is supposed to protect the citizens, that's more about education. But is there not also an assault on our children and our school system today? So each particular governing body has a role at protecting citizens. In a perfect world, parents would engage more than they do. They would not rely upon the school system to be a babysitter. That's not the case. That's what most families have convinced themselves they need 2 incomes to make it work. That's not at all what we should be doing. When your kids are in school, you should be focused on school. And then as a taxpayer for the county, you stay focused on school to make sure the county school board members, which I realize that not all counties are like mine, you have multiple schools in the county. So the school boards stay focused. That's what we're going to talk about today. And all of that setup was to bring you the county that last week on K-Fire, you know, I couldn't be more proud to be a part of the K-Fire radio network and have been now for more than 20 years. Only Todd Mitchell has been on K-Fire radio longer than me. I'm pretty proud of that. And we got into a discussion on Friday in Dakota Mornings that led to me talking about Lytton, North Dakota, and Emmons County, which generated a call on my phone from the chairman of the Emmons County Commissioners, Aaron Magrum, standing by to talk about his view, his vision of county government. Just so happens we're pretty well parallel in this regard. Trent on the Loose. We're back with Aaron Magnum from Emmons County, North Dakota, after this. Trent Loos here for my friend Greg Hager. Do you know why he has been named the Entertainer of the Year? It's because he writes his own stuff. It's because what he writes and performs and entertains will touch you in a way like very few songwriters can touch you. His country, his Christian roots come to life. Visit greghager.com for tour dates, merchandise, and book the show yourself. Use the code GREG24 for a discount. greghager.com.
Are you looking for something special or one of a kind? At Bassett Motors, we can help you find exactly what you want.
Come on in and experience how small town hospitality and personal service can make car buying a pleasure.
We know interest rates are important to you. We have multiple lenders to negotiate your lowest payment.
Visit us on Highway 281 in Carrington, North Dakota, and online at BassettMotors.com. Bassett Motors, where our customers send their friends.
At OLS Tubs, we focus on quality ingredients to create premium, low-consumption supplements that save producers time and money. Our customers see increased profits through better conception rates, heavier winning weights, and less time and money spent on doctoring herds. OLS formulas focus on highly bioavailable trace minerals and vitamins, as well as key ingredients to improve immune response, colostrum quality, and feed conversion. Our exclusive formula propels your livestock to their full genetic potential. This is why we confidently say OLS Tubs are simply the best.
In the heart of North Dakota lies a beautiful community to live, work, and play. Beulah is surrounded by nature and just minutes from Lake Sakakawea and all that it offers. The possibilities for fun and relaxation here are boundless. It's the perfect place to find a fulfilling career, epic adventures, and a welcoming community. Life here is legendary. Plan your visit today and see what you're missing.
Folks, when it comes to crop protection, you need equipment and technology you can count on. The Apache sprayer accomplishes all of that, but you need something else. A service counter and a group of people that'll help you when you need it. Simpson Farm Enterprises at simpsonfarm.com and High Plains Apache from Mandan. They have the service, they have the equipment. All they need is your confidence. Online, simpsonfarm.com or highplainsapache.com.
D.C. Congressman Kelly Armstrong running a dirty negative campaign.
Your ads are quite negative when it comes to Tammy Miller. Why?
Well, I'm going to play the game. The
decision to go negative.
You're the first one to throw a punch.
We're going to keep doing it.
Desperate and dishonest.
You cited an artificial intelligence website promoting fake news.
I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong.
D.C. politician Kelly Armstrong. Fake news, false attacks, a negative campaign with no place in North Dakota.
Welcome back, y'all. It's Trent on the Loose. And now keep in mind, this conversation took place on Friday last week. It happened to have been a Red Shirt Friday last week. Aaron Magnum, County Commissioner, Emmons County. How are you?
Good, Trent. How are you?
I had no idea what I was walking into, by the way. So I'm perfect. Thanks for asking. I mean, I'm spending too much time looking at my computer talking, but I need to get more work done, Kelly tells me. But other than that, I'm perfect.
Well, but you always got to wonder if you're getting enough work done for your wife, because as soon as it looks like you're not busy, they find something for you to do. So
no, trust me. That is not a wonder that I ever have, because I know on a regular basis, I'm not getting enough done for my wife.
Well, I always tell my dad, I don't know how you get anything done, because every time we ever talk to you, you're driving to some state somewhere and it's like, doesn't the guy have animal? How does he get anything done? So
I'm married well. That's the answer to the question.
Well, she must be a saint. That's good.
She is. She's got a halo and all. Before we get into what we're going to talk about, you have a death in your family. My condolences and thoughts to the entire Magnum family, Aaron.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, my mother's mom, my grandma Schmidt she passed away on Monday. So we have a funeral this afternoon, but it's all right. She's in a better place now, and she was in tough shape at the end, and we'll get through it, but appreciate the thought.
Thank you. Well, God bless all the family members. And It's a celebration of life. They come far too often, too many times. So, Aaron, let's talk about Emmons County, because I often talk about the importance of the local aspect. And whenever I do that, my focus, and that's why I went to Lytton in my little conversation today, was that every time I hear what comes out of your county commission meeting, it's like, that's the right way to do things. What's going on in Emmons County right now?
Well, I think the big thing we have going on in Emmons County is we just, we got some good commissioners. We have some good people that step forward and participate in the process, and we get good feedback from people, and we try and do the best we can to represent our people. That's what I feel the Emmons County Commission has done a pretty good job of. I mean, are we perfect? No, we're like any other entity. We make mistakes. There's no doubt about it. But when it comes to things like property rights, I think we've been on the right side of pretty much everything. And so that's where we kind of become a hot button issue for those that we're impacting, because they want to label us as environmentalists. They want to label us as extremists. They want to label us as people who are misinformed or spreading misinformation. When all the while, all we're doing is what everybody wants their elected officials to do. You go to a meeting, or you send a text or an email, or you call someone and you go, hey man, this is a problem. I would like it addressed. And we're addressing it. That's literally, if you want to get down to the basic nuts and bolts of it, that's what Emmons County's doing. Our commission really wasn't even involved in the pipeline, for specifically the Summit pipeline, obviously is kind of the big topic, but we're just like, hey, we heard about this project. It's coming through. Once information comes through, we'll have to make some kind of a decision. Landowners were coming to us long before we knew a lot about stuff, telling us about problems, the way they were being treated, the way they were being threatened. And we did what most of our constituents wanted, which was respond, and try and protect our landowners.
It's pretty perplexing to me, Aaron. If you look at let's talk about North Dakota. If you look at what has taken place and the massive amount of money that has been presented to lay a pipeline, the pipeline of death, I'll call it. And usually when there's money involved, you get quite a bit of buy-in, and the people who aren't directly paid are upset and blah, blah, blah. But you look at what happened at the state convention in Fargo just 2 weeks ago, a little over a week ago, and you had such an overwhelming support for a resolution that said the people of North Dakota don't want this. And yet it's like the people who are elected just charge right past that. And it's like, don't matter what they think. In fact, in South Dakota, I witnessed Roger Chase, who represents 3 counties, Beetle County being 1, Spink County and being 2. And he point blank said, but the people in my district don't want this, but I know what's better for them than they do. That is not the representative republic that our founding fathers pinned up for us to be a part of. And I know that that's not the sentiment you and your fellow commissioners in Emmons County have. So we have to figure out how to replicate what's going on there and take it across not just North Dakota or the Northern Great Plains, but the entire country.
Well, I agree. And, I kind of like to listen to Jordan Peterson. I'm sure you're probably familiar with him, but he's, and I'm not advocating one way or the other, and he's right on everything, but he's got some real good truths a lot of times, because he's very blunt. And the one thing he said the other day, I was listening, he said that conflict avoided is conflict multiplied. And it makes so much sense, because I think when it comes to this climate change hoax, even the oil and gas and the coal industry, everybody's kind of been avoiding the conflict. Like, well, if we just do this, they'll leave us alone and we can do what we want. Well, now we have to do this, and then they'll leave us alone. Once we figure this out, then we got it solved. And it's never the case. And the conflict keeps multiplying because we're avoiding the conflict. The conflict is we don't believe in climate change, and we're not going to take it anymore. And I think that's the stance Emmons County has taken, is we're just not avoiding the conflict anymore. We're just going, you know what? They're going to be awkward meetings, whether we agree or disagree anyway. Let's just have the awkward meetings. Let's just have them. Let's have the public hearings. Let's go in front of people. Let's tell them what we do and don't believe and what we do and don't want. And if they don't want to listen to us, then get out of here. And I mean, those are the conversations that need to get had, is not what can we do to make this go away, but what can we do to just let people know that we're not afraid of this conflict, we're not afraid of arguing it, and we're not afraid to stand for what we believe in? And that's kind of where we're at. It frustrates me because the link we have, especially on this conversation now, is that yesterday on the Michael Bell show, he had Scott Hennon on, and this Friends of Ag and Energy is such a load of malarkey because
thank you for using the right terminology instead of getting us in trouble.
Hey, I'm a plumber. I have to watch my language. I can throw it around with the best of them. But, it insinuates now that if you're not with them, you're not a friend of Ag and Energy, which is such a load of crud. I mean, you even know on our county commission, we have Craig Miller on our county commission. I mean, the man milks cows, builds fence. He's ag conservative patriot as you get. I mean, so to insinuate that we're like members of an environmental extremist organization because we don't go along with this scenario that we have to play into carbon capture, or we're not friends of Ag and Energy is such a joke. We feel like we're the friends of the Ag and Energy, and the other guys are just selling them out. Temporary relief, temporary avoidance of the conflict. That's what they're doing.
And I hear that Emmons County only has $1 million a year budget. You're a pretty poor county.
I tell you what, if we ran on $1 million budget, we would be heroes. I don't disagree with that. But yeah, I've been 6 years. I've been chairman for the last 3. I haven't had a budget under $8 million. And this year, our appropriated budget, which obviously there's some state and federal dollars come into that too, but some of the projects we have appropriated for, we're at $10.5 million. So, but see, that whole misinformation there, that's to make us sound like we're this podunk, desperate county that only fools would ignore a project like this. And even their comment with it was that we must be anti-revenue. We have one of the biggest wind farms in the state. Now, I'm not a fan of it, but it exists. And we have the Dakota Access Pipeline. We have the pumping station for the Dakota Access Pipeline, all which were projects there that were heavily supported by the county commission. We have the Northern Border Natural Gas Pipeline, which supplies natural gas to Lytton. It's been a huge blessing. It's been good for the schools and stuff. I mean, the list goes on of projects and revenues that come into Emmons County. I always tell people we're one of the biggest energy counties that doesn't actually drill oil or mine coal, because we have wind, we have natural gas, we have the oil pipeline, we have the Missouri River. We're irrigating on the Missouri River. We're not some activist county that doesn't like projects. We just don't believe in this carbon capture.
Aaron, hold that thought. We're going to take a break. We will come back and get into the weeds more. This is the county weeds. That's better than federal or world weeds. Trust me. Sounds like up in Colorado or something, promoting weed. We're back with more Aaron Magrum, Trent on the Loose after this.
A North Dakota woman and her 4 kids killed by Mexican drug cartels.
Cartels see North Dakota as an emerging market.
When Mexican cartels murder North Dakotans, when the fentanyl they traffic is a death sentence, it's a North Dakota problem. I'm Tammy Miller. Joe Biden won't do his job. I will. If you're here in North Dakota, working for the cartel, let this serve as notice. When I'm governor, we will find you and bring you to justice.
Conservative Tammy Miller.
People get sick for 2 reasons and 2 reasons only. Your body's missing something that it needs, or it's exposed to something that it doesn't need. So if you supplement what the body's missing, the body fixes itself. If you remove from the body toxins that are interfering with the body's doing what it's normally designed to do, then the body heals itself. It's really that simple.
NO2U, that's nitric oxide, NO, number 2, letter U.com, and you put Trent as coupon code, you don't pay any shipping.
Stop out to our facility, Highway 22 South. Let us build a truck for you.
Ace Fluke Trailers of Dickinson is a family-owned dealer with expert staff that know their products front to back. We stock over 150 units of all types and can custom order a trailer with the unique features and capabilities you require for brands you can trust. Our experienced service team is the reason we're also the best place to have your trailer customized or repaired. Count on Base Flug Trailers of Dickinson to keep you hauling.
Hello and welcome to the MHA Interpretive Center. It's the perfect stop along the Lewis and Clark Trail and the cultural hub of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation. Nestled along the shores of Lake Sagagawea in Newtown, North Dakota, 1 mile west of the Four Bears Casino. You can enjoy amphitheater performances, art exhibitions, and educational workshops utilizing our living cultural center. Enjoy some coffee, browse our gift shop, and learn about the original people of this land. Learn more at mhanation.com/interpretive center.
Welcome back, Trent on the Loose. Let's just get right back to Aaron Magram. I want to put some numbers to something that you said. You were quoting Jordan Peterson, but as you said, it's the philosophy that you have lived by as a commissioner. And I agree. I've watched it. That's not just lip service. I've watched you do this. In 2007, I spoke for the Lignite Energy Council and have had a fantastic relationship with the Lignite Energy Council. I am the #1 supporter of coal as a reliable source of electricity. But I scolded them a bit, Aaron, in 2007. I scolded them because, Beulah had just come online and people were starting to talk about clean coal. Okay, well, if there's clean coal, does that mean there's dirty coal? Well, no, there should. And I said, you should not distinguish clean coal from dirty coal because that will never benefit anybody. In 2007, 57% of the electricity generated in the United States was from coal. And now and the EPA verifies all of this. You can go look on the Department of Energy at the EPA website. Since 1987, the coal-fired power plants have scrubbed their coal, they've scrubbed their emissions, and they now are producing clean coal, clean energy from clean coal. And they've reduced, since 1987, they've reduced CO2 emissions by 27%, sulfur oxide emissions by 87%, nitrous oxide emissions by 92%. So in all practical purposes, anybody could say this is a tremendous success story, except from 2007 to 2024, we've gone from 57% of our electricity generated by coal to now less than 25%. And one other example, in 2005, the renewable fuel standard was passed, and it was to give a subsidy to ethanol producers because, and you can go right to the Department of Energy, we're going to invest in clean fuel because we want to reduce emissions. We want to secure a domestic supply of fuel instead of imported oil and all of these other things about how wonderful that ethanol was for the environment. And now they're being told that if you don't put your CO2 into a pipeline and spend 30% of the energy you produce to compress it and put it in a pipeline, we're going to put you out of business. My point in both of those stories is exactly what you just said. If you continue to comply and think, well, we'll just do this and then they'll let us operate, you will die a slow bleed out and that's exactly what we see happening right now. You put your foot down and you say, no, we're doing the right thing for the consumers of this country. And when it comes to coal, you cannot get a more reliable, low-cost energy supply than coal-fired power plants. But they're not doing it. And that's where I have a problem.
Well, and it's interesting that you mentioned the Lignite Energy Council too, because I worked at the Falkirk mine for 8 years. I mined coal. I was a coal miner for 8 years. And that's something that, when they hear Emmons County down here, they think we don't know anything about energy, but I know exactly what a mine-to-mouth operation is. I worked over at the GRE power plant. I could probably name drop 20 names of people that work around there, and they were some of my best friends still. They're great people. It's a great place to work, a great industry to be in. I feel like I'm supporting coal as much as a county commissioner in Emmons County trying to keep this carbon captured junk out of here than I did when I worked at the coal mine. And I mean, I golfed in Coal Pack, the Lignite Energy Council's fundraising events at Apple Creek Country Club. I golfed with all them guys and hung out with them, and they're good people. And that's, I think the Lignite Energy Council is kind of leading that industry astray a little bit, because they, like you said, not maybe intentionally or me, but well, if we do this, you guys don't understand. All we have to do is figure this out, and then we can do our jobs. And it's like, maybe sometimes the best thing to do is just go, you know what, we're not going along with this no more. And there might be some hardships with that. You might have to shut a light switch off or two from time to time to let people get the message that, hey, we get to say what goes on a little bit around here too. We don't have to just follow everything. But I'll lead into one little point, and that was when I was at the mine, and I don't remember which presidential election it was, if it was 08 or 12 when I was out there. And Bob Benson, who was the president of North American Coal, came up from Dallas, Texas, and he was going around and he was basically giving us a dire warning that, hey, this election has consequences. These elections have consequences. And he had a picture that he brought up on the screen, and it was a wind turbine. And he pointed at it and he said, no matter what they tell you, no matter what angle they try to come from, this is not your friend. They're trying to take your job. And I never forgot that. I never, because it's like, he basically warned us that they're going to tell you these wind towers are going to help, and, oh, they can team up with coal and baseload power, blah, blah, blah. They're trying to take your job. The solar farm they wanted to build in Emmons County was on the main transmission line coming from Leland Olds. They admitted to us they wanted to put it on the same lines as coal to help with baseload. No, they didn't. It was a little bighorn. It was the Alamo. They're trying to surround them so they can put them out of business. And we knew that, and we didn't support it. I feel like we've defended coal more from Emmons County than sometimes even the Lignite Energy Council has.
I would agree you have. And I've had a great working relationship with Lignite Energy, but it's time to draw a line in the sand. I'm here to tell you. Aaron, thanks for continuing to be a true patriot and a dedicated servant to the people of Emmons County.
Well, I appreciate your time and giving people a platform to speak, because Lord knows they're getting harder and harder to find.
It's just too bad you don't have a good knife in your house to be able to cut your meat with. With that, we say A to Z without the use of GPS technology. The journey, Dakota Trails and Tales. See you Monday. Have a great weekend. I'll explain that later to y'all. Thank you, Aaron. Always a pleasure. And I have to tell you that after that aired on K-Fire, Dakota Trails and Tales on Friday evening, the amount of overwhelming appreciation and support for that broadcast was pretty incredible. And that's why I don't like to share information. I know, and not everybody sees or hears every single thing, and it's good to be repetitive. I like to keep my content fresh. I like to keep it coming, but there are just some things I'm very passionate about. And when you have somebody who continues to look for the citizens, the landowners, the small business owners, the children, the schools of a county as diligently as Aaron Magrum and the entire Emmons County Commissioner crew, I think we need to focus on as much as we possibly can. And for that, I say thank you. I will say the epitome of what county government should be, in my mind, resides in Lytton, North Dakota. How are you shaping your county, whatever state you might be in? That's the question today. Trent on the loose. God bless the veterans and the farmers who feed.
Hi, everybody. I'm Doug Billings, host of The Right Side with Doug Billings, where we take great joy every day in entering into your lives at key moments to make differences for the better. That's how we fulfill the meaning of life.
Sundays at 10 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV.
Look, so see these cows here, Trent?
Hello, everyone. I'm Trent Loos. Welcome to another Live Across the Pond with my pontification partner, Andrew Henderson. Good afternoon, UK.
Good morning, USA. And I cannot, I'm not going to apologize for the brightness here. We don't get it very often, and I'm going to enjoy it. Because at the moment, there's almost a cloudless sky. And I'm on Anglesey in North Wales, right next to a new cheese plant, and everything looks very spring-like to me. I've even seen a couple of swallows this morning. How about that? So there you go.
You don't see birds on cloudy days?
We don't really see swallows until the sun's out. Then they're everywhere. Maybe it's because that's the days they catch flies. I don't know, but they're everywhere at the moment. And it's lovely to see because they've only just arrived.
What do they eat on cloudy days?
I don't know, but listen, on when they emigrate from, I think it's South Africa to here. Sorry, somebody's just giving me my coffee from the inside there. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You have a drive-through coffee with an actual coffee cup instead of some old plastic thing?
No, we're in a bar, and my coffee didn't come in time, and I came out to do the show. So my assistant here, Ben, is very look. He's even putting my sweetener in my coffee. But there you go. Thanks, Ben.
There you go.
So yeah, back to the swallows. So the swallows I've just seen one go straight past me now. They are absolutely beautiful because they come from swallows and house martins. Come all the way from South Africa to the UK. Sometime in April this year. They've been very, very late, but there are flies everywhere today, and I think that's why there are swallows everywhere. So there you go.
I did not know that swallows were migratory birds at that level.
Oh my goodness, we don't see swallows from the end of September to now. So they only stay here for the summer.
That's weird because you don't even get cold.
We do get cold. I mean, it's a bit of an American myth that we get a lot of frost. Sometimes we have had 17 below, Trent, 17 degrees. You know, we've had some very
Fahrenheit?
cold days. You know,
17 below Fahrenheit.
No, I think that would be. I think that's when it gets really 17 Celsius below.
So that's nearly zero here. Because 32 is zero.
No, zero. Okay, so
zero Celsius is 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, I meant minus 17 Celsius.
Right. So you're like 20 degrees. Yeah. Well, that's freezing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we have lots of times when the ground is completely frozen up, you know, where we have lakes frozen over and stuff like that. We do have that. I think you've got this idea that doesn't happen in the UK. It certainly does.
No, I don't. I have that idea. You're right. I do.
Right.
I mean, we don't bury our water lines 4 feet deep because we think it's cool to go farther in the earth.
Well, obviously, I know that I will concede that in North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Minnesota, you do get it colder than us. I get that. And you get it colder for longer. I also get that. But we still have our cold spell.
I don't know what we're looking at there, but Luke found a pretty cool picture. Cool picture. It's a really cool picture, actually.
Did it? Yeah.
So
there you go.
I have a friend.
They skated on the Thames in 1962. That was 2 years before I was born. That's the last time.
It got cold.
The Thames froze over. That's the last time the Thames froze over. I
do have a friend in Saskatchewan and Saskatoon.
Okay.
That in that really cold couple of years we had a while back before global warming really took off, you know, this was like 6-7 years ago. I talked to him one day and he was fit to be tied because for the second time, his water lines that were buried 11 feet deep had frozen.
Oh my goodness.
Second year in a row.
You know what I find weird about that? Is that apparently, I think I've told you this, if you go 12 foot under, there's a saying, that people who are buried go 12 foot under. Do you have the same saying in America?
6. We only go 6.
Oh, there we go. Well, 12 foot under is because that is the ambient, that's where the temperature never changes. So that's obviously not the case in Canada. We can go down 12 foot under.
The temperature changes a lot at 6 below or 6 feet below Earth. Yeah. But you actually bury people 12 feet deep for real?
12 foot under. Yeah, that's the saying.
But is that what you actually do?
Yeah. Now, you got to remember, we're a much smaller country than you. So there are graves with more than one coffin in. They're like tiered, especially in Italy. So, they probably start at 12 foot and work their way back up to 6 foot.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Land is at a premium here, Trent. It's not like,
I know. I'm not in favor of putting anybody in a coffin in the ground. I think it's foolish.
No, I know. I do too. Especially, right? I'm on the same page as you here. Especially when every 200 years, the local authority, you call it a council or local committee, they're allowed to take all the headstones down and start again. So, what was the point?
Yeah, exactly. Contribute.
Although
be biochar.
I have talked to you about graveyards though that are in the UK, where I've shown you graves on this program that date back to 1776.
Yeah,
quite an important year, I would say. But the other thing is, Trent, you talk about not liking burial grounds, but I have to say, your fathers and your forefathers, most of them would have been buried. Is that not correct?
Absolutely.
What changed? So what changed?
No, nothing's changed. People still do that. I just don't subscribe to that theory.
Okay, so what do you think made you think that theory was wrong?
Because it's a waste. I'm a resource, and I don't want to just be in a pine box benefiting Earth in no way, shape, or form.
So you think you're more of a resource if you're made into
even
and
just
over the
ash.
fields as
Correct.
Okay. No. But eventually you would be that in the soil anyway, wouldn't you?
Yes, but not benefit the soil because you got this you got this barrier between you and the soil.
Yeah, but eventually that disintegrates because it's made of wood. And also your decaying body would be very good substance for many creatures. So there would be some value to the Trump rump, wouldn't there? Hey?
So to maintain the three listeners that are still with us, we'll shift that discussion just a little bit. And that would be, suddenly I'm seeing a tremendous amount of information about biochar and how in the name of climate crisis and soil health, we need to work at better biochar production. And so I actually kind of knew what biochar was, but I went to look at the actual process, which is a 4-step process. In layman's terms, it's taking some cellulose material, a feedstock of some type. It could be grass, could be corn stalks, could be manure, could be other things, and heating it between 400 and 1300 degrees with no oxygen, starving the oxygen, so that you come out with this pure carbon, stable form of carbon, which can be put in the soil. And I wanted to do, but I didn't get to it, was look at when we started using the term storing carbon, because storing carbon is stupid. But getting carbon so that it's bioavailable is wonderful. And so this whole biochar, suddenly I'm getting bombarded with things talking about biochar, which kind of fits into a better way of what we were talking about before, but looking at the feedstocks that do that.
Do you know what, Trent? In the second half, I want to talk about carbon and what has been announced here in the UK today by the farming community. And I'll titillate you all by saying that it's now forecast that of all fruit and vegetable growers in the UK will be out of business within 12 months here in the UK. That's the forecast.
Okay, we've only got like
You
a
know?
minute and a half or so in this segment. So I do have, you remember about a month ago when you're going on and on about this $4 million cow, this Nelore cow, fat old Nelore cow in Brazil?
Yeah, I do remember it very, very. And then I agreed with you. Yeah, only one was sold for 1.2 million, and that's why the value was 4 million. Remember it well, Trent.
So last night while doing chores, I saw one of my full blood, happens to be an embryo transfer heifer calf. I captured a picture of her, and I thought that I would show you what a good Piedmontese yearling heifer, coming yearling heifer. No, she's a yearling right now. Should look like, and I would take, half of 4.3 million, Andrew, in case you want to buy her. I think I'll call her Pink Moon. Live across the pond. We'll be back with more. Andrew Henderson, Trent Loos, and carbon storage after this.
The reality to me is now legacy, and I have a 5-year-old grandson and a 9-year-old granddaughter. I just am so desiring them to have these same conversations that we're having today, because at the speed and the rate of which people are willing to give up liberty for the sake of security, it's just going so much faster. I was born and raised on a farm. We didn't need anybody.
Hello and welcome to the MHA Interpretive Center. It's the perfect stop along the Lewis and Clark Trail and the cultural hub of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation. Nestled along the shores of Lake Sagagawea in Newtown, North Dakota, 1 mile west of the Four Bears Casino. You can enjoy amphitheater performances, art exhibitions, and educational workshops utilizing our Living Cultural Center. Enjoy some coffee, browse our gift shop, and learn about the original people of this land. Learn more at mhanation.com/interpretive center.
Trent Loos here for my friend Greg Hager. Do you know why he has been named the Entertainer of the Year? It's because he writes his own stuff. It's because what he writes and performs and entertains will touch you in a way like very few songwriters can touch you. His country, his Christian roots come to life. Visit greghager.com for tour dates, merchandise, and book the show yourself. Use the code GREG24 for a discount. greghager.com.
Stop out to our facility, Highway 22 South. Let us build a truck for you.
Base Fluke Trailers of Dickinson is a family-owned dealer with expert staff that know their products front to back. We stock over 150 units of all types and can custom order a trailer with the unique features and capabilities you require for brands you can trust. Our experienced service team is the reason we're also the best place to have your trailer customized or repaired. Count on Base Fluke Trailers of Dickinson to keep you hauling.
Are you looking for something special or one of a kind? At Bassett Motors, we can help you find exactly what you want.
Come on in and experience how small town hospitality and personal service can make car buying a pleasure.
We know interest rates are important to you. We have multiple lenders to negotiate your lowest payment.
Visit us on Highway 281 in Carrington, North Dakota, and online at BassettMotors.com. Bassett Motors, where our customers send their friends.
Folks, when it comes to crop protection, you need equipment and technology you can count on. The Apache sprayer accomplishes all of that, but you need something else. A service counter and a group of people that'll help you when you need it. Simpson Farm Enterprises at simpsonfarm.com and High Plains Apache from Mandan. They have the service, they have the equipment. All they need is your confidence. Online, simpsonfarm.com or highplainsapache.com.
Look, so see these cows here, Trent.
Welcome back, Trent Loos, alongside Andrew Henderson and a freshly named heifer, Pink Moon. Pink Moon's a
Oh,
nice
by the way,
heifer.
I gotta say, I would pay you. I will give you now. What did you say you want for it?
I'd take
2.1 billion?
half of 4.3 million.
So that's 2.15 million.
Let's just round it down to 2 million. I'll be fine with 2 million.
Okay, 2 million. Deal. 2 million lira to the nearest man. I'll give you that. 2 million lira. From its original Italian roots.
Yeah.
That's
I have
about-
no idea what you
about
just
7
said,
dollars.
nor do I like the way you said it.
That's
So I don't think that. I think this
about
is.
7
I
million.
don't think we got a deal.
About seven. That's about $7. That'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
You
wait,
know,
do I have to
Trent,
deliver
I
it?
know you want to. You got to remember that you want to tell somebody about you. You've got something you want to say, but I want to come back to that the lira story. Carry on.
So I got a very discerning phone call from a friend of mine in Oklahoma yesterday, a family member of Ryan and Valerie Watson gave me a call, and I feel pretty much hopeless or helpless in this situation. That he and his wife Ryan and Valerie Watson, young family with 2 young kids at home, went to I guess it's part of the Bahama Islands, Turks and Caicos. You know, this is just not my forte, going anywhere in these tourist areas. But Ryan today is going to be sentenced to 12 years in prison, I am told, in Turks and Caicos. And I think I have a picture of Ryan and Valerie there. Valerie did return home yesterday to Oklahoma. He had I'm told, one piece of ammunition in his luggage that was just left there from a hunting trip. Obviously, a very innocent accident that occurred. And I just want to let him know and the family know that the best that I know to do at this time is, if you look at what Turks and Caicos has been doing since 2022 and disarming their people. And the U.S. Embassy in September of 2023 issued a very stark warning to any American tourists coming to these Bahamian islands of Turk and Caicos that you do not have any ammunition or weapons accidentally in your luggage, because there will be no leniency for anyone. So I want to help bring awareness of anything that we can do. And I know that Governor Kevin Stitt has already reached out to the folks in those Bahamian Islands and ask for leniency. But most importantly, on the sacrifice of this family in Oklahoma, who did nothing nefarious or wrong, just simply didn't pay attention to what they had in their bag. All of us need to be very aware, particularly when you leave the United States, where you're going, what you're getting into, and make sure that you cover all your bases. So, Andrew, a horrible situation that has just been unfolding, and that's going to play out even more today.
Do you know what, Trent? That's terrible. And I want to just relay something that happened to me. That a few years back, I came to America, and you were very strict in those days. You didn't let people in easily. And what happened was that a lot of my friends, as a joke, put a lot of knives in one of my bags. You know, we were having dinner in the airport, and they put all the metal knives in one of my bags, and I didn't know. And I got all the way to America. I went through your main airport at Chicago O'Hare. Went through all the detectors and everything, and finally got caught in Lexington with all these knives. And it was a big thing. And I said to them straight away, well, hold on. Guys have put this into my luggage as a joke. And I said, and the other thing is, I said, I've come all the way through O'Hare to here. I said, how did that work? And eventually, the right thing happened, and they realized it was a prank. But, you know, that could be so easily done. Somebody could have put that in that luggage. And it's of no live ammunition. It can't be used for anything unless there's a gun with it, can it?
No, correct.
So
the whole airport security
the
thing is
whole
such a joke. It's just
it is, isn't it?
a wasteless theater to make people think that they're doing something for security. I'm going to confess and tell you the truth, Andrew. For the past 2 years, you know how many times I've flown, even though I said I was never going to fly again. I have gotten a knife in my bag through the security every single time. Not once have they taken it. There's a joke. Why do we pretend to do things that are helping people when all we're doing is limiting rights? And then we have a family that has no ill intent whatsoever, leaving the country, and now he's going to spend 12 years there in jail.
That's absolutely pathetic, actually. And I'm speechless because it's obvious that that's a mistake. It's obvious there was nothing nefarious there. Well, actually, there could be something nefarious there. He could have had it planted and he didn't know. That's the worst bit of that.
Yeah, the family has not suggested that. I think it was an honest. I mean, Hank had a similar situation when he was on a hunting trip in Canada, on a hunting trip. And instead of putting all of his ammunition in his checked luggage, he ended up with a couple of bullets, ammunition in his bag that he brought through. And, well, he thought for a moment that they were going to lock him up.
Wow. Well, as you know, I've told you, I smuggled into China fresh milk, which was then drunk by the special counsel in Shanghai, and they had no problem drinking it. But I now know if I'd been caught, I probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah, you probably would not be. You'd be biochar.
So anyway, yes. So anyway, back to that. So this announcement today, which is all over our newspapers about all these fruit and vegetable companies going out of business, is for one reason only, and that is because fuel is going up again in price, and they are saying that they're not allowed to increase the carbon levels in the polytunnels to produce the fruit and veg, which maximizes their yield. Interesting, isn't it? How carbon grows fruit and vegetables, but it's supposed to be bad for us.
No, it's not bad for you. They put CO2 levels at 800 parts per million in a greenhouse because it benefits plant growth. It's documented that the corn yields in proximity to an ethanol plant are significantly higher because there's a higher level of CO2. It is the biggest fraud brought upon mankind in my lifetime.
They're trying to regulate, which they know is then they're going to reduce food production or put it out of business, which then allows them to control our food. I've been on 3 farms this morning, and it's the topic of conversation everywhere. Farmers are saying, this is not an accident anymore. This is real. These people are trying to stop us producing food, and they must have a plan for this. So I'm just making it, we're going to have to keep flogging that horse because we need to tell people what the real plan is. It's to control our food, nothing else.
I know that we had a promo for today's Trent on the Loose with Pastor Jeff Weiss here during the break, but I'm going to give a live promo for tomorrow's Trent on the Loose. Bridget Napier from the Oahu Island in Hawaii is going to join us. She runs and manages a 500 cow operation, and they are chasing her cattle operation off of the islands. She's making a very good case that when you do this, you are putting the Hawaiian citizens at risk for lack of food. They don't care.
Well, you know, I heard in that break before, and I thought, well, they're true words-ish, but people are giving up their liberty for security. No, they're giving up their liberty for perceived security. That's the problem. It's that they're prepared to give up liberty for what they perceive as security. It's the opposite. Once you give up liberty, you have no security.
In fact, Kelly has a quote, and I believe it's above her kitchen sink, where it says, and I'm paraphrasing because it's not exactly right, and I believe it was Thomas Jefferson who said, for those who give up liberty in the quest for security end up with neither.
Yeah. I do think that is the hole in the sand that most people's head is in at the moment, and I think that's the saddest thing, especially the young generation. They've been given all these what I'm going to call it woke ideologies, and don't realize that what that means is it's a way of them giving up their liberty. And I think that's the really sad thing. It's a mass psychosis in a way that I've never seen it happen before, where they're trying to, use genderism and all sorts of different pronouns to take away people's liberty.
Speaking of taking away liberty, for those of you that live in states, and most of you do, that have senators that voted yesterday to give $95 billion to Israel and Ukraine, make sure you send your senators a thank you for increasing your family expenses to the tune of $1,300 with one vote. One vote cost each family household in this country $1,300 yesterday. Throwing money into a black hole.
And while you're at it, I would say there's a large percentage of people in those states would be Christian. You've just paid for the leader of Ukraine to continue to purge Christianity.
I agree. 100% live across the pond, regaining control for the farmer, one bite at a time. Think about the Watson family, please, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
At OLS Tubs, we focus on quality ingredients to create premium, low-consumption supplements that save producers time and money. Our customers see increased profits through better conception rates, heavier winning weights, and less time and money spent on doctoring herds. OLS formulas focus on highly bioavailable trace minerals and vitamins, as well as key ingredients to improve immune response, colostrum quality, and feed conversion. Our exclusive formula propels your livestock to their full genetic potential. This is why we confidently say OLS Tubs are simply the best.
People get sick for two reasons and two reasons only. Your body's missing something that it needs, or it's exposed to something that it doesn't need. So if you supplement what the body's missing, the body fixes itself. If you remove from the body toxins that are interfering with the body's doing what it's only designed to do, then the body heals itself. It's really that simple.
NO2U, that's nitric oxide, NO, number 2, letter U.com, and you put Trent as coupon code, you don't pay any shipping.
In the heart of North Dakota lies a beautiful community to live, work, and play. Beulah is surrounded by nature and just minutes from Lake Sakakawea and all that it offers. The possibilities for fun and relaxation here are boundless. It's the perfect place to find a fulfilling career, epic adventures, and a welcoming community. Life here is legendary. Plan your visit today and see what you're missing.
Open Range is going to be like a digital magazine, I call it. We're going to be looking at a variety of subjects from agriculture, energy, sports, art, politics, of course, and we will be talking about a lot of subjects, having a lot of guests on, and I'm going to have a variety of co-hosts. One of them is Memo Barreto, Gail Wetzel, Gene Grainer, Dustin Goverlau, and Daryl Lease. Welcome to Open Range, weeknights at 9 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV.